5, okay. Hey, Danny, we're gonna start the meeting. You guys ready? All right. We'll go ahead and call the order of the Daviess County Commissioners for December 28th, 2021. I want to welcome everybody this morning. We've got Scott Hedrick here from St. John's Lutheran Church to give prayer this morning. Good Shepherd. Okay, I got it on the wrong. Sorry about that. If you wouldn't mind, come up to the podium and give prayer this morning. I appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Let us pray. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gifts of life and the opportunity to serve the people of Daviess County. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are servants of your authority. Guide these commissioners to be leaders your people need. Help them to see the humanity and dignity of those who oppose the decision or decisions made, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with reverence your creation deserves. Instill in this council a spirit of gratitude for this county and for the good they are called to do together. We give thanks for the many leaders in the county offices of Daviess County, those present and outside this room, who have built the systems that have served the citizens through COVID and our national reckoning of racism. We honor their boundless generosity with boldness and their perseverance. As this council faces the challenges that lie ahead, as they pursue new opportunities to fully embody their mission, may they be filled with faith, hope, and peace in mind and heart, and help them to see you and seek you in all they do. In the Creator, in the name of the Prince of Peace, amen.
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 Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, we got the meeting minutes from 12/14/2021. You guys have any corrections or anything?
I did not see any.
Ronnie,
No.
anything? Look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second?
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, second item on the agenda, farm lease number 3 bid. Grant, I think you got that for you. I think just one bid this time. Okay.
Okay, farm lease number 3 bids. Is anyone here for that? It's for Summers Farms, Inc. Sum of $31,640 per year.
That's on the property around the airport, right?
113 acres, is that correct, or less?
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we got one bid on the farm lease for farm lease number 3. As we'll look at it in a minute.
Do you know what the current amount was? Or are you the past tenant?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were the ones that were
Yeah,
current.
Summers.
Oh, okay.
You guys owned it for about the last 3 or 4 times, haven't you? Yeah, I know it's been a while. You guys have any more questions?
No, none here.
If not, I'll look for a motion to approve Summer Farms to farm the ground around the airport, 113 acres, farm lease number 3.
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Nathan, second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah, you can. Let me, I forgot.
Hey, you gotta sit here for the whole meeting.
I'm glad it was right at the top of the list.
Come on up here. Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay,
There's
on
one
the
on
other
the back page
page,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If Ron, have Ron sign it, I'll have you sign it. There on top. You'll get a copy. Okay. Appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the asphalt bids. Grant, we got a few of those too, I think, don't we?
Yes. Anybody here for that?
Yeah, we got two people here, it looks like.
Just want to come up here? Don't mind. Usually Phil would help me with these because he knew what he was looking for. Okay. First bid is from Calcar Paving. Bid bond. Twenty 2021 asphalt in play. And normally what we do is take these under advisement, let the highway superintendent look it over, and then we can award bids at the time. We've got a lot of information. Amount was $1,787,598.00. Anything else?
They probably split them separate and then take the total. That's what we want, just the total.
Number one. Yeah. Sure, just a second.
1,087,000.
$1,087,598. Okay, number two, this is Milestone. $1,086,021.75. That's the project grand total. Got the pieces split out here if you'd like me to read those. $201,000, $201,576,000, 70 cents. Again, that's 201,576, 70 cents. Glendale Road from SR 257 to County Road 600 south.
So there's probably several of them in.
You want me to read all the pieces off, or? Okay. These are all to review. So, my apologies. Thank you. Last one is E&B paving. Paving here. Total of $1,176,859.80. All split out. Sure. I believe those are the three.
Hey, Grant, all the bid bonds, everything in place in all three?
Looks like it, yes.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot.
Suggestion would be taken under advisement and
Yeah.
let Chris look it over and you all look it over and we'll award bids at a.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, look for a motion to take the asphalt bids under advisement.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So we got the $1 million is what we were awarded.
Right.
Was that the total for the CC?
It was really, yeah, it was really close,
Close.
900 something
Okay.
thousand.
Great.
So it's really close on,
It's good.
everything. Sound like those bids are all pretty close too, sound like.
That's
too,
amazing
so,
how close they are to the bid, to the grant amount.
Yeah. Before we go to Highway Department, just a reminder, our January meeting has been moved to Monday, January the 10th at 9 a.m. It will not be on Tuesday, the first meeting of the year. And also, like about moving the highway meetings just to one meeting a month on the second Tuesday of the month. So you guys in favor of doing that?
Oh, the second Tuesday,
Second.
first meeting.
First meeting,
Second
just
Tuesday.
one meeting a month,
Yep.
but it'd be the second Tuesday, be the same as our
Okay,
commissioner
monthly.
meeting.
Yep,
Yeah,
Yes.
It's fine with you, so I look for a motion to move the highway meeting to one meeting a month out the highway garage, which is a public meeting, by the way, for anybody's available to come, but it'll be the second Tuesday of the month only. So look for a motion to
So
approve
moved.
that. Got a motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor?
aye.
Motion carries, all right. Chris, you're up.
Really, I've got a LPA voucher, which this is the last one, and I'll get it changed.
Yeah.
Daviess County Rural Water for Candleberg Road, Phase 4 and 5, utilities. Looks like it is in the amount of $4,000, 80% reimbursable, $3,200.
Yep, thanks, Chris.
The other thing I have, under projects, and I don't know if Grant will wanna look at this first, is the federal surplus, which we had used that in the past to get equipment, that the federal government was selling.
Right.
We gotta sign up for a program and be able to sign up for that.
Is that a yearly or 5-year or something?
I think it's 5 years.
Okay.
It's not yearly.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing we had before. If you want to let Grant look at it real quick, we'll come back at the end before you walk away and we'll see about it.
You want it today?
It don't have to be. We
Okay.
just need
But
to.
I think it's the same thing
Sign
with,
up before we can buy anything.
yeah, that's how we bought the asphalt plant and those military trucks for dump trucks. You just want to look at it real quick, give you some time there. I got an LPA voucher before me for Daviess County Rural Water in the amount of $4,000 and 80% reimbursable, $3,200. Look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. And then under the right-of-way, services contract proposal is for the Montgomery Bridge, Bridge 155. And we've got Laura and Ed here with, Lockmuller Group. They had drafted up a proposal, I believe.
To be over already,
Yeah.
but it is.
Nice weather and
And we felt like we needed to keep this moving forward and be able to try to hit still for construction this spring.
Right.
To try to keep the right-of-way moving and let us kind of take over on that and keep it moving. What you'll see is for a do not exceed amount and not be utilized, but we wanted to kind of do an all-encompassing so we don't have to keep coming back and asking, for more. So this would be worst-case scenario. There's 8 parcels total, 7 I think that we're looking at, because I think we do have 1 commitment already of a donation.
Okay.
So it's just covering those 7 parcels.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have had time to look at it or have any questions. I did bring Ed Slayton. He's one of our right-of-way managers who can answer in detail a lot better than I can for the right-of-way process if you do have specific questions about that.
I think it's a good, good thing to use myself, just to take away from our people trying to get those right-of-ways done, and you guys know what you're doing. I mean, you've done all Odin County Road too, so worked out pretty good. Now, if there's other parcels that maybe Chris goes out and reaches out and gets those taken care of ahead of time, then that's just
And that
off,
gets them
just
off of this.
off that
Yep.
dollar
This,
amount.
this is having to touch and appraise and do every single parcel that we
Right.
are not anticipating we'll have to do. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we will continue. I think Chris is
Right.
planning on continuing some of those conversations. So hopefully that will kind of take it off the top. But this way, this is in place. We can utilize it as we need to, and it won't hold things up.
Now, we seem to keep the project moving forward, because if we keep delaying this thing, it's gonna get pushed off into another year, and costs go up, and everything else goes up, so.
Right, right. And community crossings, I'm sure you guys are aware, opens Monday, January 3rd, closes 28th, I believe, of January, and we're gonna try to get this, get the construction funding to be able to do in the spring.
Are we still shooting for the January, submission date of January, what?
Oh, 15th, before that?
That was
Eighth?
earlier than that.
Was it earlier than that? I remember Mark threw that date out there. I don't remember.
It
I
was
think it was
early.
the second week of January.
January, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think these
It was gonna be early. The earlier the better, so then
Right.
NDOT can have a chance to review.
15th
That sounds perfect.
be the submission date.
Will NDOT still have their meetings over at Benson's to go over those with the applicants or not?
I don't know. I mean, usually they do some kind of training every year. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean, like the Old Camera Road, we always went over there and presented that,
Oh, so now that's for the federal call.
okay.
So that's different. So
So the community
this.
crossings is different than that.
Community
completely.
crossings is something that, as everybody that's been aware, it changes yearly. And they usually do have some kind of training. I don't know if they plan on doing that this year or not, I haven't heard. But what you're talking about is the federal call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, there's been some development on a couple of the parcels that Chris has been working on, well aware of, so you'll work hand in hand with him and only do the ones you actually need to do.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Gentlemen, any more questions on that?
No.
If not, I'd like to look for a motion to approve Lock Miller Group for the right-of-way for Montgomery Bridge contract.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Chris, on the federal surplus property grant, looked over that real quick, you said it was fine, so. Gentlemen, have any more questions on this process for the federal
Yeah,
surplus?
I don't have any plans per se, anything specific we're looking
Right.
to get, but
But
we want to have that
give
open.
options.
We want to keep our options open.
And this doesn't cost the county anything, you just have
No.
to sign up for it, right?
Right.
At least for your signature, it says card holder.
Yes, the card holder would be, I guess they do it with the credit
But they
card.
do have one page for commissioners here, so.
Yeah, and then there's for all 3 of your guys' signature
Yeah.
on there.
All right, look for a motion to approve the federal surplus property program application.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, number 5 on the agenda, we got the health department immunization fee ticket. Kelly Strader, 2022. Are we talking about that already, huh?
almost here. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm here again to ask for an amendment to our fee ticket. The health department is not exempt, like many others, of a rise in prices. We have seen that our vaccine that's been highlighted on our immunization sheet, the Prevnar, the pneumococcal and the meningococcal, have risen in price. So we want to amend our fee ticket, and also the federal government has allowed a higher price or a higher charge for the administration of COVID vaccine. So we wish to amend our fee ticket for billing as well to insurances. And then we're really hoping in the coming year that our child vaccine will rise. We've seen a serious lull in child vaccine in the last few years, and we're going to do some special events at the beginning of next year. You'll see, to hopefully get babies and children that are vaccinated.
Is that sort of the immunizations and stuff that you're talking about, or?
Yes.
Okay,
This is all immunization related.
okay.
I think you should have it with the highlighted changes.
Okay. Get behind on this a little bit here.
So on the vaccines, do we just pass through our acquisition cost as far as the cost, or do we charge? It's like if someone comes in and pays cash, does that happen? I mean, how?
Some do. We have some that are self-pay. Most are insured, and then we have some that have no insurance.
Right.
That the state provides free
I see.
vaccine for.
Okay.
Yes.
So as far as our markup, how do we mark it? If someone comes in and pays cash, do they pay the amount that we bill the insurance, or pay the acquisition cost?
No, most patients, like I said, either have Medicare or Medicaid, insurance, or those that have a self-pay status do have a reduced cost.
At reduced cost,
Yes.
okay. So we're not creating any barriers to.
None.
Options, okay,
0.
okay.
And some are case by case as well. And those that come here and don't have insurance and cannot pay or are in a special program, a lot of times pharmacies provide it at a much cheaper rate, so we do help them get it for a cost they can afford.
Okay,
But we rarely turn anyone.
I don't have any questions.
Any more questions?
No,
Kelly? If not, look for a motion to update the county's immunization fee ticket for 2022.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
second.
second by Ron Aron. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Have anything else? You're good?
Well, talking about vaccine, about 95% of what we're doing now is still COVID vaccine. Our schedule is booked a week and a half to 2 weeks out at a time, and we have 3 nurses at all times. We schedule every 15 minutes, so COVID boosters are like I said, 95% of what we're doing.
Pretty hot item right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're still we're still the COVID test site here in Daviess
Yeah.
County.
You guys are out of your quick test now, right? Is that-
The state of Indiana is trying to make a new deal with a manufacturer because the federal government has taken all of the supplies for the new program starting in January, and we have a serious supply interruption. So
Okay.
those have been reserved for children so we can keep kids in school.
Right.
We are offering PCR laboratory testing.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Kelly. All right, we got Daviess County Economic Development, Barnes and Thornburg engagement letter. Bryant, I know Bryant's off now. I see. I see you're, come on up, yeah.
Michael,
Lane.
that one is pertaining to the ARPA committee
Okay,
in particular. We had a session with that group. They're wanting to hire them to help us, especially with the ARPA committee. I don't know if Eric was familiar with all that because he's not
you
on the
probably
ARPA.
weren't on any of
So,
those meetings then.
Ron's
I know
on that
Ron sits on it,
committee.
Patty sits on it. Who else is on that? on that.
Tom Schaefer, Matt Meredith, Joe Morris, Bryant Niehoff, and Greg Jones.
Greg
I think I hit them all, didn't I, Ron?
I think that's it.
Okay.
So that is just, again, bringing it to the commissioners for permission. That committee wants to use that firm I mean,
Yeah, you get into the funds, and of course, they've changed the guidelines and probably will continue to do so, and it's just kind of a seal of approval for what we decide and keep us on the right path.
as a committee member, listening to his presentation on that, I think, you know, they're obviously gonna be well-versed in it. You know, we've used, different groups in the past. I think we're still looking at, on the financial side, working with, Baker Tilly some. We've worked with Ice Miller in the past. They're another legal firm that we could utilize for this same purpose. So it's open to the commissioners on how you wanna move forward with that from the
So
committee.
this $6,000 fee is just basically like a retainer fee
Yes, sir.
It will be billed hourly, and it's a not-to-exceed number.
of $6,000.
$6,000.
So right now, we're using just strictly for ARPA money right now, right? Think you got anything on that?
No, I mean, I think it's, you know, it's probably the wise thing to do. It's just irritating that the government gives out our money that we earned, and then we've got to hire attorneys to tell us how to spend this money that was taken from us. So now we got more money going out that we'll never get back, and it's $6,000 a month. I mean, I don't know. I just want to make sure this isn't a perpetual thing that come August, you know, when we may not need it, that we're still chunking out, you know, several $1,000s a month. So I think it's wise to do now. And my only request would be that maybe we review this again in April, because the dust is gonna settle, things are gonna be a little bit more clear, and I just don't want these guys to, and Barnes and Thornburg's who we use for the Commissioners Association, I don't have anything wrong with them, but just, I don't know, 92 counties are paying the exact same fee for the exact same information, it just seems so redundant, but today,
So
I
guess
think it's
that-
necessary.
This fee schedule, is it coming out of the ARPA money? Is that where it's coming from, or?
It is
Yeah.
eligible to be used to pay it from that
That's
fund.
total fee, 6,000, not 6,000 a month.
Okay, it says our fees for this work will not exceed 6,000.
Yeah, that's for the
Billed on a
total
mon-
engagement.
So it's billed on a monthly basis.
Just as needed?
Our fees for this initial work will not exceed $6,000.
Right.
Okay, that's perfect, that's,
Makes it a little more palatable.
Oh,
doesn't it?
yeah.
yeah. That's the sad thing about this world, 6,000 a month, we're like, that's not crazy, you know, those aren't crazy numbers.
Numbers now.
But no, I don't have any questions, I think it's probably the most appropriate to keep the wheels of the ARPA dollars
Keep it
moving,
moving. But I would like to see the funds come out of that on.
out of the
If
ARPA
not,
money.
if it comes out of the commissioner's budget, then we need to reach out to the city and the county, the economic development county, help pay that bill. But if it's out of ARPA, then I don't have an issue.
You guys
with
are
it.
okay spending that ARPA?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any questions,
All right. Thanks, Eric, I appreciate
good, 'cause I haven't seen
it.
how
We
that
solved it
one
ourselves, it
goes
sounds like. Yeah.
Not like being on the hot seat for something you haven't seen before.
Steve Ward.
You did a fine job.
Yeah, I handled that well, didn't I?
Yeah. You got anything for the commissioners while you're standing there?
Just that I'm looking forward to taking over as chairman this year, starting January 1. And, you know, one of the tenets that I'm really working on is engagement, trying to get us more engaged with our members and with the community, and getting the members back involved on things so that we can, committees involvement, active participation with all the board members. So we've got some challenges to work on. We're trying to figure out exactly what we've got at this point, but looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
You've served in that capacity before, and I know you'll do a fine job.
Well, thank you. I have to relearn things though, Ron.
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks, Eric, appreciate it. All right, we got a contract here then before us, our engagement letter, and, for Barnes and Thornburg for their ARPA money, and, not to exceed $6,000 on the, cost of it. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart. Second by Ron Arnold, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion carries. This is a single signature on this. right, we got the Daviess County Economic Development, contract before us. Their contract does expire on the 31st of the month. You guys have anything with
I'd like to see the terms of it changed a little bit.
what are you looking at?
Well, you have to understand that Brian's out competing with on projects with other entities, and the more he can take to the table, the better off it is. When the edit was first put in, taxpayer was told that it would be project money, and they would know exactly where every dollar went. And so what I would recommend, and you have to understand, when the edit was put in, that raised about $700,000 on an annual basis, the county's portion. Now it raises close to $1.5 million, maybe a little bit under that, which means that it has worked out fairly well. It's based on people working and what they make. But I would like to see the contract raised to about $350,000 and provisions put in there that when he accesses those funds, instead of just cutting a check, he comes before the commissioners and the council and explains where the money's going. And that way it improves the communication between the organizations. It gives him a little more firepower when he's making these deals. And again, it's always done that he says, I've got this money available that could go towards this road or this sewer or water project based on the approval of the elected officials. And it worked pretty well where he had it before, and I'd like to get back to that, but also give him more resources.
And the old contract, I guess it was right around, what, 282, and then we had another out of the commissioner's budget of, what, 50,000 or something, I don't remember what it was now.
Yeah, I mean,
There was one contract for 182.5 and one for 100. It was split up, and it's, there's reasons why it was split up.
And then we had for some reason, we had a
well, we had two,
$35,000 or $50,000
yeah, there
payment out
was,
of the commissioner's budget or something, I don't remember what it was now.
yeah, it was a little discombobulated. So, I mean, the past few years, I mean,
32.
I think it's been working out really pretty well the past few years, and the way it currently stands is that our entire edit fund is available for economic development purposes. So, which is, you know, our share is like $1 million each. And according to the minutes back in 2003, and again, the minutes are what the minutes are, and the purpose of edit, there's probably a few different interpretations. So currently, Bryant and the Economic Development Board has full access to all of our edit funds. All they have to do is come to us, tell us which project they need. We can have a commercial industrial meeting, which is a closed door meeting, so it can be kept confidential. So they really have access to all of our funds currently. And I wouldn't want to cap them to just 355, and it's December 28th, and we got to get this thing renewed. So I'd suggest we renew it as is, and if there's any changes the Economic Development Board wants us to make to that contract, I mean, I'm wide open. But just know all those monies are there for your disposal, so you can throw maximum firepower. Like I know Bryant's, you know, we're actively working as we speak. And if there's any of those monies he needs, we're just a phone call away.
I'd actually talked to Brian earlier in the year. I'd sit on the EDC board, and I asked him about the contract. He was fine with it at the time, but I've not been to the last few meetings. Have you guys discussed anything on changing the contract? Yeah. So we're gonna put you on the spot again, anyhow, Eric.
For the record, we very much appreciate the support of the commissioners and what we're doing. We're putting budgets together for 2022. We've already approved it. It does not reflect any increase, obviously. As you know, Ron, there's so much that we do. It's just running traps. We're trying to entice business and keep things going. So, yeah, we're appreciative of the opportunity to utilize edit revenues as they are needed. We know a portion of those revenues are used for other purposes, so take advantage when we see an opportunity.
Just to answer the question, in an effort to get more transparency, and again, the amount Mr. Gabhart's right, it really doesn't matter, because those funds are available if the project's right. So the amount's really secondary, but the higher it is, the more firepower it gives him up front in the negotiation on deals. But any amount you come up with, it's like, it's all there, so maybe we should make it for, $1 million. But they have off this contract drawn a little over $400,000. And as a commissioner, I can't tell you where that money went. And I think it's important. And again, I think they're doing a great job. I think Bryant does a great job. He's a very talented young individual. But I think it's important that the taxpayer and the council and the commissioners know how that money's being spent.
Brian comes and gives us updates
Yeah,
twice a year.
I can say as a commissioner for 7 years, I've never been more comfortable in the past few years than previously. And again, I'm not getting into a back and forth, but we all have our own opinion.
Yeah.
And it's 3 days before this contract expires.
Yeah.
So.
What I would like to see is we go ahead and keep the same contract, but what I would like to ask for your board to do is review this contract. And if there is changes that you guys would want to change to this contract, bring it back to the commissioner maybe in February or March. And
We can change
review
it
We can
anytime.
review it again, okay?
Yes.
I mean, does that sound fair enough to you
Yes,
guys?
very much. And as I said, we're trying to, as you mentioned, when I was involved 20 years ago, so I'm trying to relearn the system and
System,
what
yeah.
we have, and putting quite a bit of effort right now doing that on bank time.
Yeah. That'd be fine, Ron, for those guys to review it and then come back and see us February, March, just so we're all on the same page. I just don't wanna. It took us 2.5 years to get this contract where it is, and I just really don't wanna start over again.
Right, and I understand
I mean, it
that.
was blood, sweat, and tears to get this thing.
To me, it's all about transparency.
Yeah.
If you talk with Okra, if you talk to ROI, Davis County is a model for getting things done and has been for some time.
And that's the way I
And I
prefer to do
don't
it.
want to lose that advantage that we have.
I don't think we will. I mean, you guys are more than welcome anytime to come in with a project, and if you need that money tomorrow, I mean, the monies are sitting there and we can get it done, okay? But
And that is,
I feel more comfortable right now leaving this contract the way it is until the EDC has a chance to review it and talk, have a pretty good conversation about what the future is for EDC for Davis County. And then if we need to change the contract at that point, then I think we will. If you guys come in and say we need to change it, then I think we'd review it.
Absolutely.
well, if it's on the record that that money was intended for economic development, and that's what it's going to be
Yeah.
used for, I'm tickled to death.
And if they come in here and need a project done that's $800,000 and we got money sitting there to do it, I don't have any issue you spending it myself.
Oh, I mean, we've spent 25 million in the past 15 years. I think we're very inclined to spend on economic development, so.
So we're looking for
Yeah.
singles and doubles right now, folks.
There you go.
Sounds good.
All right. So, everybody fine with that?
Yeah, I'm okay leaving it as
Okay.
is, yeah.
So I'll look for a motion to approve the current contract with EDC in the amount of $175,000 biannually. It'd be 2 payments of $87,500 biannually.
Yes, so moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, guys.
I'll try not to drag you back up here again. You going back to work so you can take care of that, right? Thank you very much. All right, Denny Eaton, we got a contract here for a ratio study through what, Nexus Group? All right,
Yes. Good morning.
morning.
I'll try to not take over an hour of your time here this morning.
You won't.
We'll push you out the door.
This is a 4-year contract that we have for trending. Ever since we started the reassessment every 4 years, we do 25% a year. So our contracts have to be a 4-year contract. I might add that this also is the same contract we've had since 2005. with them, and actually it started out a little bit more than what it is now. It's $21,500 annually. It started out at $22,500. So,
You're a heck of a negotiator then.
well, they're good to work for, and they really know the county, and they were the only bid. We'd advertised for bids, and they're the only bid that came back, so
Okay.
I was well pleased with that.
And exactly what do they do?
They do the ratio study. In other words, they take our assessed values and compare it to our sales prices, and then they give us a trending factor that we should be raising all the current assessed values to get as close to market value as we can. It gets pretty hairy sometimes. We mix a lot of different areas together so we can kind of stabilize the system. Right now, it's, as you all know, with the price of lumber and the way houses are selling, it's pretty scary what's
Yeah.
going on out here right now.
Yeah, the rate of inflation is sky high right now.
It sure is.
And it's your opinion the money's well spent?
Very well spent. A lot of times you need this third party looking at the local trending factors, and they give us suggestions of what we can bring it up, and then we work with them, and then we agree on what factors we want to use. So, yeah, it's very well worth it.
All right, gentlemen, have any more questions for Danny?
No, I don't have any.
If not, I'd like to get a motion to approve the Nexus Group for the trending contract, 21,500, is that what you said?
21.5 annually.
Annually for
4 years.
4 years.
Yes, so moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart for approval,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks,
Aye.
Danny.
Thank you. That's shorter than an hour.
Yeah, good job.
All right, we got the ordinance for Daviess County voting districts. You gentlemen had a chance to look through this. I didn't look through all this, but
We had a discussion, a meeting we tabled because Gabhart and myself were on the opposite sides, that's understood. I still like the idea of changing the commissioner's district just because your pool of candidates, I think, should be equal as far as the population they come out of. Right now in District 1, there's about 18,000, in District 2, 8, and in District 3, 6,000. So, but I understand how things work, and if we all thought the same, there's no need for two of us.
yeah, my only thoughts, if we do change the Board of Commissioners, is we start bringing some of these Washington precincts out into the county, then we could have 3 commissioners sitting on this board, all from the Washington area, and not representing the northern part of the county or the southern part of the county. That's my fear, and I know the numbers are skewed, but we have a more dense population here in Washington, and I just really have a hard time changing that myself.
And I understand that. I trust the majority of the voters. I think they're involved for a reason and they make good decisions. But the only thing I don't like about that scenario is this is locked in for another 10 years.
Right.
And so,
So, any discussion, Nathan, on that?
Just some comments I shared last time. I mean, it's countywide voting. Any population below 50,000, the entire county votes for all 3 commissioners. So theoretically, Washington has enough voters to decide who all 3 commissioners are. But all 3 of them residing in Washington would not be a good idea for the entire county. And then second, you know, the majority of our time spent on roads and nuisances. And if we, with this redistricting, 98% of all the roads would be in 2 commissioners' districts. You know, the city of Washington obviously would oversee there, so if there's something broke, we'll definitely can fix it, but, as far as population splits, I mean, you would have to have several of the Washington precincts to be in the other 2 districts for it to be an even split, so, I think that would be more problematic than what we currently have, so. Let's see, leave it as is.
I would add, in the last 3 decades, there's only been 1 commissioner from the city of Washington serve on this board. So I think there's a concern there that may not be factual, but again, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just look for the future of the county, and I farm for a living. There's a lot of things I do on the farm that most folks in the city wouldn't prefer to be around. And then if you get that, I think it'd be a disservice to we're 80% agriculture in this county, it'd be a disservice to.
And I understand that. But what I hear is on 2 of the districts, it's more of a coronation than an election. And
Yeah.
I believe in the democratic process.
So,
Well, again, the entire county votes for the commissioners,
Yeah.
so it's,
yeah, it's not like we're
yeah.
precincts are just voting for those precincts or whatever districts. Actually, it's commissioners are 3 districts.
Yep.
So it's the entire county voting in all 3 districts.
That's right.
All right. I would look for a motion to leave the ordinance as is, and, but is there any other changes before we go forward here? I think everything else is fine.
I think everything,
There were not changes. Am I right? Janice, did you want to speak to this at all?
Yeah, Janice, come up to the podium a minute.
Not that you wanted to, but
We're gonna drag you up there anyhow. I was not here on 11/23 meeting, so, but I think the meeting before we talked about it, and I felt the same way then as I do now, but do you have any more on the commissioner side of it, or about this ordinance, or everything else looks good to you on the rest of the ordinance?
I reviewed the ordinance whenever Grant had sent it to me, and there was, I think, 1 change that he made.
Okay.
About it, we had, something on there twice, so.
Your thoughts on the districts for the commissioners?
I mean, I understand there's a lot in one. I know it's the Washington Township, but I also know when people vote, everyone votes for each commissioner, you know, like the entire county.
County
so.
does, yeah. Anybody have any
Yeah.
questions for Janice? All right, thanks, Janice. I would look for a motion to approve the ordinance as is and leave it the same.
so moved.
Got a motion by Nathan. Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
All opposed?
Nay.
2-1. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is not on the agenda, but it's the ordinance for dispatch, establish and operate central dispatch in Daviess County. I know we've been around and around and around on this whole central dispatch. Nathan, do you want to talk on this
I'll
ordinance?
tell you what,
at all?
Julie's got, once we got her involved, everything just smoothed out,
Ah.
so no, we had a meeting last, 2 weeks ago, with the operations and finance, and, tell you what, hats off to them, anyone who hasn't seen the new central dispatch setup. It's the next 20 years, I mean, it's state of the art, so I know we're fiddling around with the interlocal agreement. I think we got that all done now. We just need to sign off on it, but
We got the interlocal agreement done, this is the ordinance.
Ordinance.
The ordinance,
It
yeah.
was approved at the last
Yeah.
meeting with some changes, and I think that's why it's back in front of you.
Okay, okay.
So I just want to give a quick update with where you guys are at, and I know the IDAC, is that the,
IDAX.
okay, yeah.
It's the Indiana Data and Communication System. It's where we get all of our criminal history information, driver license plate, all that good stuff. As far as the ordinance goes, Grant and I spoke yesterday. I think we got everything the way it's
Hammered
gonna
out,
work.
yeah,
As far as progress, again, IDAX is gonna be our holdup. It's a state agency that also has federal ties with NCIC, so it's a lot of hoops and red tapes. Obviously, this is probably one of the worst times of the year to try to do anything with all the holidays and people being off. I've reached out to a couple different individuals to see where we're at in the process. Got one email back saying they're gone until after the first of the year, not gotten a response, so I'm trying to make progress on it. They're finishing up working on the radio equipment, then the computers are gonna get installed. It's just a lot going on. They wanna step on each other's toes. And then just waiting on that main component. I have some ideas of how we can get up there if they get approved before IDAX gets approved to be up there, but that's again is trying to get approval from the state. I'm just waiting on them to get through with everything, but it's moving along nicely, and if you haven't been up there to take a look at it, I welcome you to come up and take a look at it. It's very nice.
Good, yeah.
And even without the IDAC, obviously there's a backup plan.
Yes, currently we're still operating from the sheriff's office and the city police department. I have, as of January 1, they'll all be under the central dispatch budget, and a couple of the county dispatchers will have to be going over to the city police to make sure each department is adequately staffed and has coverage there for the officers, so.
If everything goes smoothly to the state, you guys thinking a month from now you'd be in full swing, or?
As long as we don't have any hiccups with getting things, I know as far as the IT, they're, doing what they can in their office before
Right.
they get everything up there, so I'm hoping within the next week or so, they'll be up there installing computers. Optimistically, I'd like to say yes
It's okay.
in January.
No, you're fine. I'm not gonna hold you to it.
But,
so.
it's all dependent upon the state, and if we get, I have an idea of how we can get the city up there so we're not operating out of two agencies.
Yeah.
And we can start getting things merged
Things over,
together,
yeah.
so, if that gets approved by the state, then that'd be great. We can get
Yeah.
in one building and not have to worry about going back and
Back and forth,
forth,
yeah.
so, but it is making decent progress for.
That's good. It's
time
been a
of
long
year.
time coming. I'm glad it's here, yeah.
And then with the IDACs, I mean, all the application process that was executed as quickly as you could. It's just a rate limiting step with the
Right,
state.
I think I signed that paperwork 2 days after accepting the position, and it got sent off. I know we did have an IDAX meeting out at the park, early part of November, and they are very backlogged on new user agreements, new terminal agreements. Just with the state, several were working from home. It's just,
Yeah.
turnover, they have to have every new user, screened and all that stuff, so it's your
Fine,
typical red tape that you have to go through.
Sounds good.
No, it's good. They've, Gary and Steve and Derek, and, I mean, they've really done a great job. These acronyms and terminology, I mean, most of us were fairly not, I don't want to say useless, but we were along for the ride during parts of this. But, yeah, hats off to you guys and everything that goes on behind the scenes on this project. That's going to be a much better and much safer dispatch going forward, so great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You got anything wrong?
No,
The ordinance? Okay. We'll look for a motion to approve the ordinance to operate a central dispatch in Daviess County.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
second.
second by Ron Aron. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Been a long time coming.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Lowell renewal payment.
Michael, that's the software that we use for the county, software and the maintenance contract that's before you. This is budgeted for the 2022 out of the commissioner's budget. But if we pay this in advance, we get a discount, and it has to be done by the 15th of January, but it'll save over $3,000.
Yeah.
So that's why we're submitting it to you today. We'd like to take advantage and save that.
Pay it before the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
We got monies in our account to take care of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gentlemen, have any more questions on that?
No.
Look for a motion to pay the renewal payment early out of the commissioner's budget for Lowell services.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Daviess County Attorney contract. I'd reached out to Grant about a month and a half ago, trying to get a new contract in place. I had him reach out to several surrounding counties and even the city of Washington, and reviewed a bunch of those contracts, and kind of modeled this contract off the city of Washington's. It'd be a flat rate for the county attorney of $50,000 per year. Then anything above and beyond his normal task, like litigation or bond issues, it'd be at a rate of $200 an hour, which is basically what the city does. Can't remember exactly what are some of the other things we put in the contract. You want to speak on some of that, Grant, what we talked about?
Anything above the tasks assumed here would have to be approved by the commissioners. It's sort of the flip side, the way that it is now. There are, the way the contract currently reads is for meetings, and anything above attending meetings and routine tasks are billed hourly. It's also similar to the way Knox County does it. I don't know if y'all saw that. I passed it along, but they have a flat amount of $50,000, $200 an hour, and then anything litigation, bond issues, specific things are billed in addition and have to come before the commissioners and
Right.
to discuss before that happens.
Your previous contract, which I know we've had some issues of talking to you as a contractor, memorandum of understanding, but that was basically what Jeff Hayes had in place for years, and you made a few changes to that, but this, I think this will clear up some of the other details of that contract.
And I'm comfortable with the status quo. I'm comfortable with the different arrangement. I'm happy either way.
You guys have any questions on that contract? I know we sent it out, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I hadn't heard anything back from anybody on that contract, so I didn't know what your guys' feelings were. And I know your contracts will run from year to year, what they are, the attorney's contract is, so.
The appointment is an annual appointment.
Yeah.
The contract could,
It just goes on. Yeah, I guess that's right. It'd just be a continuous contract for anybody that sits in that seat, be an annual appointment every year.
and this amount and the hourly rate is the amount that I've had and the hourly rate that I've had since I started in 10 years. And Jeff Hayes was attorney for 13 years, and I believe it was the same. And I'm happy the way it is. I'm also happy to make any changes.
Yeah, I just trying to get things up to date, get things a little more clear, and I know we've had trouble in the past of how to bill, not to bill. Descriptive this way kind of takes care of a flat rate. Seems like other counties are doing it, and the city's doing the same thing, so I think it just makes everything clearer. And that way, if Grant spends 10 hours on something that he probably should be spending 10 hours on, he's still gonna get paid the same flat rate, so.
Yeah, just, and maybe one thing we look at too is, and maybe it doesn't happen so much anymore, but as far as people reaching out to Grant, county employees, county elected officials reaching out to Grant, and then obviously services, and I don't want to bottleneck it, but at the same time, having anybody be able to reach out to Grant for questions and services, and then we get billed for it, and the commissioners don't really know what that service was. Should there be some sort of, I don't wanna say approval, but I mean, if the surveyor has a question,
Right.
and it's 2 hours billable, how particular do we wanna get on that stuff, but.
Commissioner Arnold and I talked about that specifically, that he wanted to make sure that, there was a mechanism so that that they knew what was going on, and I understand that. It does say in the current agreement that these are obviously separate. The Board of Commissioners work is specific to that agreement. The new draft document does speak to that as well, that it would be a flat rate across the board. And if there are those boards that can hire an attorney, they can hire whoever they want to hire.
Right. I know we got different board, like the APC board has their own attorney, and then, EZA has their own attorney. I mean, different boards have their own attorneys, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be.
I just think more of the day-to-day stuff, and maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't happen very
Just-
often, but.
I don't know, Grant, I mean, on a monthly basis, how many times do you have elected officials reach out to you? I mean, is it 5% of your time, 10% of your time? I think Patty's office is, you're tied with the commissioner, so I think
Oh.
your
Well,
office is a little
there
different
are,
story.
I'll speak for elected officials, Denny's here and Gary's here. There are multiple times that we are told from the state, if we have a question, we reach out to those agencies generally first. But 9 times out of 10, or 9.5 times out of 10, we are told, consult your county attorney. That is always the answer that we get. So our hands are tied when we have questions,
Right.
and that's the state directive to us, is to consult our county attorney. We need some kind of mechanism. If we have to come to the commissioners each time for that, that's gonna be cumbersome.
And I'm not suggesting it, I'm just throwing it out there.
I did 2 years of grants reviews on going through this annex project, and I looked through everything that was detailed, billed out. There's times in there where you've had to talk to different people and you've billed for it down through there, but, I mean, I didn't see just week after week after week after week at this same thing, so, I mean, do you think it's 30% of your time?
Well, that's because he doesn't bill for all the times that we call him.
I know, I call him sometimes too, and I know he doesn't bill, because I don't see my name show up on there, so,
I would say, without knowing, it's probably 25%.
at the time.
25%.
Yeah, that's basically what I've seen on your billing. When I looked through there, over the last 3 years on this building project, I was just trying to get numbers together of what we paid on legal fees on this building. I didn't see a lot of it, seen some of it, but, I didn't.
And that was broken out. One of the council members asked me to break that specific item out for the annex. So there's a point in time where we started billing that under a separate thing.
Yeah, I found that too, it was a different description there, yeah.
Well, I think, again, there's no secret, I've had some concerns concerning the performance of our county attorney. I didn't meet with Grant for an hour and a half last week.
It was only about 1.1.
Well, and that's another question, was that billable or not, but anyway. There's some things in the contract, and I honestly feel, and I still feel this way, this should be hammered out in the executive session, terms and conditions. We can put the answer to some of this. When I look at what he's drawn this year, which I think has been very reasonable, it looks like it's gonna come in at about $22,000. To be honest and fair to him, that's not enough. But whether it's 50, when you consider the benefits that go along with it, because as county attorney, he's subject and he can get all the benefits that a county employee can get. And then I have some concerns that I'd rather not talk about in an open meeting regarding his performance. But when you talk in what's here, it says it's approximately 5 hours. I think to treat him fair and to treat us fair, I think we need to track the time and basically adjust it from there. Let's take all the wiggle room out and get down to what we're actually getting, and what we're paying for.
Well,
I would,
I consider the flat rate more like a salary, so I mean, I guess we put an hour in there to justify something, I guess, but, I mean, I see that as a salary, not really as a billable hour, right?
well, but when we sit down and talk about his previous contract, his memorandum of employment, and it stated in there for commissioners meetings, and we got down to brass tacks, and it said 5 to 10 hours, estimated 5 to 10 hours a month. And when I got through it with him, and again, well, the meetings are about an hour, all this one's running over, and they sometimes do.
They do,
And then prep time, well, for the meetings and what was being billed, instead of 5 to 10 hours, we were close to 4 to 5. And I just wanna take the guesswork out of it, to be fair to everybody.
But I said if we do a flat rate, that should take the guesswork out of it. In my view, I mean, I might be looking at this wrong, more like a salary, whether you work 0 hours, you work 400 hours that week, you know, you're gonna get paid the same.
And I agree with that component of it. The question is at what amount? Is 50,000 the number? Is it 40? Is it 60? Because I think there has to be some consideration given to
Well,
benefits that county employees get, which is probably a $30,000 package.
I mean, I really don't think should be a non-issue. I mean, that's just the way it's always been. Even with Jeff Hayes in place, he had those same benefits, and that's just what we've offered the county attorney. But as I've looked at the other contracts from the other counties, we're at $50,000, we're getting a really reasonable rate. I'm just telling you right now, because one of those contracts is close to $200,000.
Yeah, and I've looked at those contracts, and some of them cover insurance, some of them don't.
Yeah, but even at $50,000 plus insurance, you're not nowhere near $200,000. And so, I don't know.
On the insurance component, I have to pay monthly for that out of salary.
Right, I mean, you pay for your family, right, is what you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah. Which that adds up to about $7,500 a year, probably something like that. It's close to that, I think is what it is.
But the county
Do we know what
still
it actually is? I
pays a
mean,
good
you
chunk of
probably
it.
know better than anybody on
County
what
the county
the
pays
per
its portion.
employee.
It's around 20K total,
20K,
and then depend on if you're a single family spouse.
right. Because I think the 20K is regardless, right, per employee, then
It's like,
then the family
if you
adds on,
average
it
out-
adds on about another $7,500, whatever it is. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Then do you know what it is for family? On the employee, yeah, it's around 72 to 7,500, I think, extra.
The employer's portion,
What's that?
the employer's portion
Yeah.
is what you're talking about? I think it's around 1,200 per pay, $1,200 times
So
24.
it's not quite that then, around 5,000 then, or per, you said per pay, per pay.
On the employer side.
And again, insurance is tough, there's no doubt about that.
Right.
But I just not wanna cheat whoever we have as attorney, but I don't wanna overpay as well.
Right. Like I said, if I look at some of these other contracts, I don't think we're overpaying at all. But that's just my opinion. Nathan, you can speak up and.
I mean, yeah, I mean, 92 counties, there's probably 20 different types of contracts. I know I've evaluated 5. We made a few changes a couple years ago. And I know there's probably 5 different types. Yeah, I don't have any, I see both sides. I see what both of you all are saying, and you know, ideally, we pay for the services that are rendered, and at the same point, you know, we want to keep this as simplified, and I know all of this 22 for this year. I mean, I know several months have not been billed, so that's.
Last time I checked, I don't think it's not an accurate number. It ain't been billed since probably April.
And these contracts can be changed at any time, so I mean, I don't have any issue moving forward with the contract that you and Grant worked on. And if we see that there's inherent problems, then we can address those problems
And we can make this an annual review process. I know we always have an annual, employee.
come up in June. We can discuss it in June, see how it's working. If we don't like it, we can change it.
Oh, and there's still the issue of his performance, and again, the conversation, I'd heard some things, and again, it's tough. You can't operate on rumors. And it's like one of the things that I heard, that he was the one that added 10% to the annex project. He assures me that he wasn't, and, you know, I told him I value honesty more than anything. And early on, there were some things that, when we had Natalie Smith's appointment, to where I wanted to delay it, he had given me a call at the request of Commissioner Gabhart and said, well, go ahead and put her on, and then you can pull her off if you don't like things. Well, that's not the case. It's up to the Westgate Authority and its bylaws. So it's like, I want to make sure we're getting accurate information, and legal consultation is tough, because I've been told you can argue anything. It's like an attorney in a small town will starve. As soon as that second moves in, they're both going to get rich.
Yeah.
Because you can argue anything. So I just want to make sure we're doing the right things. And right now, we're having a discussion on what qualifies open door. And I've been told by people that I trust that Our ARPA committee doesn't need to be open door. It doesn't have the majority commissioners or council on it. And I don't know what he's found out. I dropped some information off, but I want some things ironed out, and I'd like to be done with this, to be quite honest.
I'd like to get this contract, that's the reason I reached out to Grant 6 weeks ago, trying to get things taken care of too. I just want to get it behind us so we can move forward. We can all work together as a county and get things done. But just back to that comment you made about the annex. I know before you were commissioner, I talked to you about this project as it was going on, and we realized about third way through this project that there was going to be money left over in this building, and but nobody had ever reached out to anybody saying anything about a 10% increase on this project. But I did ask the architect. This is public. I asked the architect at the time. I think it was in part of those meetings that we had. We had several meetings with the architect. They were all public meetings. I said, I do not want this thing to come in under budget. So whatever number you got to come up with, make sure we're on budget. When we get our bids, I don't want to be under budget as soon as we started. Make a realistic number for dollars per square foot, and that's what he done. And then what happened at the time when we went out for bid on that, those bids came in way under estimated budgets. I mean, it was way under. And then we ended up hiring the one that was way under, which is the low bid, which is the biggest mistake that I could have ever made as a commissioner, and I'll say that for a fact. But I think we just need to look past that point. I got the final payments going out today for this building, the last payment, so we'll know exactly where we stand at. We are going to be over budget, but it's not going to be $800,000 over budget. It's going to be over budget. Once we get the final bill paid and we get that parking lot finished over there, I'll release everything to the public, what we paid for this building, down to the penny. I've got it. So I wasn't going to give a realistic number out there until all the bills were paid and finalized. And I'm not there yet, because line item 4803 is still got an open account on it, right? So I still need to pay money out of this. I can't give you a final number of what the dollar is over budget we are, but we overall. Right now, as of right now, before that check goes out, we're still under budget.
That's debatable, and we'll get into that when we do the closeout.
I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, but I would say, and we've been through this, and I've studied it up one side and down the other, and I will honestly say this project went south in a hurry.
So the
If it
topic of
wasn't
the
for,
agenda.
if it wasn't for your involvement, I'm convinced the county would have spent $1 million more than what they spent.
and
I take my hat off to you.
I know, but I just wanted to come to rest, but I don't want to keep bringing this up when the county's contract and county attorney's contract and everything else. I just want to be done behind us. But back to the contract, what we was talking about here. I would like to move forward with this contract, and then we got our employee reviews in May or June of this year, and I think that'd be the right time to go through Grant, see if we want to keep them on for 2023 or not. I would like to see
But we
Grant
do
here for
every year.
2022, and like to get this contract hammered out today if we could, because it's going to term at the end of the month too.
Right.
So whatever you guys' thoughts are, I mean, I'm open to anything. Like, we can table it today and move it on to the
I
January
say we
10th
go
meeting.
ahead. I mean, I think we need to just move forward. We got the reviews in June, just like we've had the past 7 years, so I'm okay moving forward with the contract that you and Grant hammered out, and then we can make adjustments.
Well, on any contract, I want to know what the final cost is. So we're looking at a $50,000 contract and roughly a $30,000 benefit package. That contract is an $80,000 contract.
Yep.
And to me, and again, it depends on how much time he actually puts in. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be other. I think we need to narrow it down and pinpoint it more.
Well, I mean, we tried the billing process, and it's not working out.
I had asked for an executive session back in January when I first got in. We've had that session, and we really didn't compete our work because of personal attacks, and we talked about everything except his performance.
And we've done it twice, and we couldn't get through the meeting, so that's going to be a non-issue too, because we just couldn't get through the meeting. So I'd like to move forward today. So I'll look for a motion to approve the Daviess County attorney contract.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart. Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion
Which
carries.
is a nay.
Yep. Motion carries 2-1. All right, moving on. We got our, actually, we got There's one other thing I'm supposed to look at here, I think. Yeah, we got our, I'm gonna skip down. We got our annual nepotism and contract disclosure forms. I've got enough for everybody here, I think. You guys just fill these out and get them back to Patty. Disclosure form here too. And then we got our 2022 appointments. I think we got all those back. Everybody's got the list back pretty good on those. The one thing I was going to bring up today is I do sit on the EDC, Daviess County Economic Development Board, as the commissioner's appointment. They've actually changed their times when they meet, and I just can't make those meetings. I've missed probably the last 6. I actually asked Nathan to sit in on the last one, just so we had some representation from the county. And so I would like to step down off that board and ask for one of you guys to step up to the plate on that one, if you guys so desire.
Sure, I mean, I'd be glad to. I've got time to do it now.
I got a motion on the floor to appoint Nathan Gabhart to the EDC board.
I'll second that.
Second that. Ron Arnold seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, got that taken care of. Guess we'll look for payroll. Does anybody else in the audience have anything else for the commissioners today?
I've got a question on this.
Yeah.
This states a member of the county council. That's not for us, is it?
Let's see, which one is that one?
Official, county contract disclosure policy.
It does say county council on that one.
We'll get you the correct document, just
Oh, the header's right, but just that sentence.
Just that sentence down there. All right, we can sign that at the next meeting,
yeah,
can't
we
we?
just need you to review those annual forms from, the commissioner standpoint that you need to sign.
Okay.
Because that has to be part of the things that we upload to the state.
Okay. So we'll just put,
Send out a blank one. Here's a blank one if you need it, that she sent out.
I'll tell you what, we'll
That's
just
nepotism.
put it back on the agenda for, go ahead.
I have an agenda item that came in last minute.
Okay.
It's to do with the opioid settlement.
What is it?
Documents, the opioid
Okay,
settlement.
yep.
At the last meeting, you asked me to go ahead and register with the state, so we have a motion that's already in place for that. So I did do that, and we have the DocuSign documents that were sent back to us yesterday. So to move forward with that, I'll need the president to come sign that in my office afterwards, so we can finish that paperwork.
We need a motion for that, I guess. Or you said
We had a
somebody-
motion already from the
Okay.
last meeting to move forward with it. You authorized me to register Daviess County with the state. That's been done. And it's all gonna be through electronic signing. So it's a document that we sign electronically, and it's ready and prepared in my office.
Okay, sounds good. I'll come up to your office and sign that later. then.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right,
And I did have Grant review that document that they sent to us, so it's standard document, right, Grant? No, nothing changed from what,
Proceeding with the state.
Here's
Thank
Grant.
thanks.
Give that back to Grant. On the annual certification of elected officials on the compliance with the county nepotism, and then the compliance with the contract disclosure policy, we'll just table that to the next meeting. Get a motion for that.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, all right. Anybody else for the commissioners, anything today? If not, I'll look for a motion to pay payroll, pay claims, and adjournment.
So moved.
All right. Thanks, everyone, appreciate you for coming today.
Hey, Michael,